Hey guys, so welcome back to Real Talk. Today I'll be walking you through how to host a Twitter chat. Keep in mind this is a just a remix of tons of things that have been taught by many different educators in my PLN. And so I kind of have just taken parts and pieces from everyone and made something that works for me. I will preface this with I'm kind of like uber strategic in how I do things. So this might be more information than what you want or need, but maybe you can take parts and pieces of it and make it work for you. So here we go. So the very first thing I do is I use the schedule. I have a spreadsheet in Google Sheets. It's just a format. It's kind of like a lesson plan for Twitter chat. So the first thing is the promo tweets. And then I put the times beside those and what days I want to send those out in times. And then I start listing like my welcome slide and what times. So as soon as the chat begins, you want to send out your welcome slide. And then your intro, and then question 1, question 2. And you'll notice underneath each question, I also schedule my answers. When I say schedule, I mean I'm scheduling them in TweetDeck. And then in the really, really fast chats where you see schedule question 1 again, you want to go ahead and put that in your TweetDeck too, because on those super fast busy chats like SatChatWC or TLAP or when I did iMOOC, it's just, they're really, really fast as you're spending most of your time commenting and interacting with the participants. So you definitely don't want to spend tons of your time having to go in and tweet things out for yourself. So I schedule in a retweet of the question halfway through. So I just kind of schedule it to where it's about half the amount of time between questions. Other than that, you can follow this format. You definitely want to make sure. So I'm co-hosting with a friend, Jeff, for SatChatWC. And so you see my time, I'm Central Time Zone, and my schedule on the left-hand side. And then in the middle is his tweets that he needs to schedule. Now here is also a place where I go ahead and form the questions. You want to make sure that those questions are possibility questions. For example, if your question is going to be something everyone is going to answer pretty much the same, so would you like students to be engaged or empowered? Everyone's going to say empowered. Or, you know, if it's something like if you're all reading a book and if there's the right answer, quote unquote, right answer from the book, you don't want to ask a question where everyone's going to say the same thing. So one of the ways I try to make sure that that doesn't happen is I change the ability words in questions to be possibility words. For example, instead of using the, I'll say some. Or instead of using can, I'll use the word might. For example, how might you describe blah? Or in what ways are you? So if it's in what ways are you doing something, each participant is going to answer different because none of us do things the exact same way. Now let's go to creating our images for the questions. This is kind of the process that I follow for getting a Twitter chat ready. The scheduling is the last thing that I do. So next we're going to create our slides. If you're a geek like me, you might want your slide to fit exactly in the Twitter window. Some people don't care. You can just use WordSwag or Canva or something else. So if you want that, the exact pixels that'll fit inside that Twitter window are 640 pixels wide by 430 pixels tall. Now, if that doesn't matter to you, don't worry about it. But I use Easily, which is EASEL.ly, to create my slides. And I typically create them pretty generic-ish. So it doesn't have to be super fancy. So the slide, you want the question, and you definitely want the hashtag, and then maybe some type of image. But you want every slide to look the same. And you're going to save it as a PNG or a JPEG. So once you get all of your question slides created, I typically store them in a folder on my desktop. And then if I'm co-hosting like I am with Jeff, I have created us a folder. And what I do in our folder, I'll have our schedule. I'll also have every one of our picture slides. Then all he has to do is download the slides and schedule them at the time that is his time, and then I'll schedule the ones at my time. For TweetDeck, I typically kick my schedule out and I line it up and I schedule my tweets. Go to schedule right here on the left, and then you're going to go to tweet. And so you will take your question and you will highlight it. So we're going to go with this one. You will highlight it, copy paste, highlight it, copy paste, then go to schedule tweet. You're usually planning this days ahead of time, so you want to make sure that you click the right date and you also click the right time and time zone. To add an image, you just literally drag the image over. And sometimes it doesn't show up right away, so you want to go to refresh. So when I set up my TweetDeck, I typically have my notifications really close by. I'll also have my app mentions close by. And I start out just in the SatChat WC. So I'm going to use this one as my example. But then I also make columns for SatChat WC A1. Like I said, this is not what most people do. This is just something I do so I can try to comment on as many as I can. So to do that, you just go to the magnifying glass and you just type in, and then you also want to filter by answers. Now, keep in mind, your questions won't show up here because they're going to say Q1. So you'll be looking for your questions in the SatChat column, and then you'll be looking for your answers in the SatChat WC A sorted by question. As soon as we go to question 1, I then just move over to this column and start liking and commenting, liking and commenting. And I'm constantly looking at my app mentions and then scrolling over to my notifications too. So you're kind of running 3 columns at a time. Pretty much I want SatChat WC close by, app mentions, and then I also want whatever question we're on, the answer column for that. So then when question 2 pops out, I just move this one over. I move this one over. And I just go to town on answer 2, trying to like and comment as much as I can. And you just do that all the way through. It makes it super easy to try to comment and interact with more people. And when question 1 is over, I don't usually go back until later. Unless I'm all caught up, then I'll go back and see if more people have joined in on question 1. So that's pretty much how I set up TweetDeck, and that's pretty much how I run it the whole time. I think the key piece is having a schedule. You want to schedule your questions. You want to schedule your answers. So you don't have to worry about all of that stuff, and you can really enjoy the chat once you get going. So if you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this will help somebody out.